it was hard for me to really understand the depth of the issue. I didn't want to see it. I do think that I was now looking back in denial, and I justified my behaviors to the end. You know, I deserved this because look how hard I work. Look at how great of a mother I am. Look at all these things I've gotten done today. I've held myself together, you know, so I was convinced that in many ways I didn't have a problem. So when things started to get bad, you know, I think some of the indicators there were when my issues revealed themselves to other people. It was more than just me and affecting, you know, just me now. It's affecting my family members, my husband, my kids, my parents were starting to see some of my struggles, and that was embarrassing, and I felt a lot of shame around that. But when it really got bad, it affected my relationship with my kids, and that was my bottom, was realizing that I'm not in control anymore. And, you know, I wanted to do something first and foremost for myself, but I wanted to show up. I wanted to show up for them and for other people that I love so much, because the alternative would be that I'd lose them. My Red Rock experience, you know, I just have to smile because when I had made the decision to come to Red Rock, I was pretty convinced at this point that from here on out, I was going to be miserable. That I had just failed at life, and this is what I needed to come to terms with. And I have to laugh about that now because it's just not the case. You know, it was this help that I so desperately needed and didn't even realize how badly I needed it at the time. My experience with Red Rock was a really humbling experience. There were rules and expectations that I didn't quite understand. I wanted to think that I was unique and that some of these rules and things didn't quite apply to me, because after all, I ran a household and I haven't squandered my finances, and my relationship with my family members are fine. But over time, I realized why these things were in place, and I am extremely grateful that I had the time to really focus on me and the opportunity to kind of remove these distractions. Another piece about that was the community aspect. Realizing that, yes, some of these things maybe didn't apply to me, but it wasn't all about me. And, you know, to realize I'm not the center of the universe. I still have an important role to play in the universe, but I'm not the center of it. And that community component kind of propelled me into seeing how I could show up for others as well, because they're struggling with their stuff just like I was. So that was a really awesome part of the Red Rock experience. And the staff, you know, there were times where I was writing my little critique notes and stuffing them in the suggestion box, and you know, things weren't perfect. There's seldom, you know, a time when things are exactly perfect, but I am just so grateful that Red Rock listened to me. You know, they heard me and all of my complaints at the time, and were really able to just support me and, you know, meet me where I was at. So I just can't say enough about all of the staff and the community that provided me. And, you know, seeing that, well, when I first came in, I was kind of having this pity party where I was like, oh, well, my kids need me and I'm stepping away from them. It's kind of, it feels like I'm abandoning them, and, you know, my husband and my job, and I had all of these things. And the women at the house that I stayed with were like, you know, my mom struggles with alcohol. She always has. She never got the help. Maybe if she would have taken the time to get help, she could be there for me today. And then the next woman said that about her dad. And I took that. And from that point forward, I stopped complaining and I started listening. And I didn't take a moment for granted because I thought, when am I ever going to get this kind of opportunity again? Don't squander it.